See, people don't understand that 2020 didn't happen to you, it happened for you. You got to look at things and approach life a different way. A lot of the times we ask why, and give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that, instead of, what can I do to change the situation? What can I do for you? How can I be of service? And a lot of the times when you're too busy trying to seek something in return for everything, the source that you're asking for these things will be also trying to seek something in return from you instead of trying to give it to you. I don't know. Again, I believe in God, I'm a Christian, but you're free to believe what you want to believe. But I always felt like, I always been raised on the principle that it's better to give than to receive, to give thanks and to serve and to be of service. That's what I was raised based upon, and that's what I stand on. And it shows when it comes to receiving blessings, especially when you're leading the right way. You're standing on faith and everything, and you're always blessed, in return. And I wholeheartedly appreciate God and everything that He does for me, because 2020 was a really bad year for me. I graduated high school that year. I started college that year. A lot of us did, and it was totally hard for us to even get adjusted into the real world. And statistically, it messed up people's track as far as higher education goes. A lot of people aren't going to finish, and a lot of people probably didn't even start yet. And it's so hard, especially the fact that it's so hard for us that class of 2020 was a forgotten class. A lot of people don't even talk about the things that we went through firsthand. Yes, of course, the class after us was able to had to do strictly online courses, but what's not understood is, when it comes to us, we don't get talked about enough, right? Um, and the stats show that we the ones that are in most help. And I don't want to make this he say, this is us, we this, we that. That's not really what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about how I use the year 2020 as motivation instead as using it as an excuse. You see, you can't always allow things to get in your head and make you lose track of what it is you need to do. And that's what happened to me. I started college in 2020, and it was extremely hard for me. It was hard to focus, especially being that, I worked a job to pay for the little things I need to pay for and then go to school. Being that everything was virtual, it's really hard. It was really hard for me to learn virtually because we were kind of thrown into the whole virtual thing our last semester and so on and so forth. So it was really hard for me, but there were a lot of good things that came from it and that I didn't realize until now. Like that was the start of my drive. Like that was the start of my hustle. I started doing DoorDash in the midst of COVID, and I've been doing DoorDash for 3-4 years now. And it has gotten me, money, and it has granted me opportunities to travel to places I've never been before. And that's the number one reason why I continue to do it. It's just because it's something I'm familiar with. And, I've been doing this since COVID. So, and it's been working for me. If it wasn't for COVID, I probably wouldn't have even tried to do it. Or if I would have, I probably wouldn't have been as successful with doing it. Um, Also, you know, a lot of relationships during COVID have been tested. I came out of high school with a really close friend, and of course, me and that friend isn't as close anymore. And at one point, I did feel away, and I was just like, dang, like we supposed to be, for me, like brothers. But I had to realize that when life takes its course, whatever happens happens, and everything happens for a reason. And you can't be so strung out on trying to fix things when everything's already written for you. As I've said it before on my Instagram, but God is in control, and He is holding you accountable on how you handle everyday activities, whether it's through the struggles or how well you handle positive situations. But at the end of the day, He is in control, and He is holding you accountable, and He is watching every single move that you make. And I couldn't dwell on that situation, on the fact that I lost a friend, or the fact that The good thing about it is my relationship with my girlfriend, became even stronger throughout it. A lot of times people went through COVID and went through divorces and then realized that, especially in COVID, when you were isolated and you really had to be with that person like every single day throughout and throughout, and being that me and my girlfriend situation was kind of different, we were able to actually come out of that situation a lot stronger than a lot of other relationships did. And so that's why we're still standing here today, 3 years strong. So if it wasn't for that, that probably wouldn't have happened. So that's why it's like I started having a different outlook on things. I stopped trying to fix things. I stopped trying to be the handyman, be the guy that holds things together, because I've been stressing myself out. I've been, overexerting too much energy myself on things that probably didn't even call for it, not just sitting back and stopping worrying and letting God handle it. That's what it's about, and that's why I came to the conclusion today after watching the video from my guy Hines. Shout out Hines, Hindsight on YouTube, man. Shout out him. But he said it best. He said, 2020 didn't happen to you. It happened for you to be where you are today. So embrace it, use it, as motivation, as fuel, as energy to continue to keep going forward. We're winding down on 2022. If there are things that you still want to accomplish that you wasn't able to accomplish, do it now. So get a plan and write out the building blocks. Don't wait till New Year's Day to have a resolution. Have that plan. Start that resolution now before the end of the year, so that when you go into 2023, you've already started on the things that you want to improve. A lot of the times people go and they wait till the first of each year to say different wild things that are unrealistic, and they don't accomplish it and they forget about it. And then they turn around and realize, like, man, I really wish I would have did this. I really wish I would have did that. But you had the opportunity to. You didn't put your mind to it. You didn't really do what you set out to do. And there are no more excuses. At the time, COVID was an excuse, yes, but it's not an excuse no more. It's time to really go out and show everybody who you truly are and the skills you truly are capable of, and the skills that you possess and what you are capable of. Like for me, in the next 6 months, I'm going to be working as hard as I can. Not hard, I'm sorry. I'm going to be working as smart as I can to, rise up the ranks on the charts as far as about my new podcast. Because I have something to say, and, I want to influence people, one, through God's voice, through faith. I want to influence people on that aspect, and I want to help the dozens. I want to help the masses. There's a lot of people out there who go through so many things just as I do, that I know that I could be the light, the guide for them, and I'm going to step in the gap for them. I'm going to intercede for them, and I feel like that is what my my purpose on earth is for, like to intercede and to step in the gap for people and show them and help them and be of aid and be of service. That is what I want to do. That is my ultimate goal. I could care less about any of the material things that come from it. Of course, being a top podcast and being how straight business minded I am, of course, that there will come times where there will be a lump sum of money or whatever. But that's not even what my main goal is. My main goal is to help everybody else. So find your purpose, man. And it, of course, it's not going to come to you. Everybody isn't perfect. Everybody isn't, in tune. You got to just really, dig deep, talk to God, have those conversations, read the Bible. Like I read my Bible every single day because I feel like I want to know. Like I want to know. Like I want to know. I'm curious. You know what I mean? I want to know. You know what I mean? And you have to be curious as well. You gotta want to know. You gotta have that drive. You gotta have that same mindset as you did when you're a little kid, running around the store, touching stuff when your mama said don't touch nothing, picking up stuff when your mama said don't pick nothing up. You were curious back then. So then you need to get that same curiosity that you have now with life, because I'm trying to tell you, life is going to pass you by, and you're gonna be sitting in that same spot wondering what happened, and everybody else is moving and shooting past you. Don't be that person. Please, I beg you, I call upon you today. Do something that's going to make you progress. one step further. It doesn't have to be a massive step. You don't have to skip 5 stairs. Like one little step to do something tonight, do something this morning, do something today while you're at work, do something in the car, say something, do something, write something, give something. But as long as it gets you an additional step further towards your goal. It's too many people out here working so hard and going nowhere. I had the other day on my podcast, I spoke about it, and I had to change myself, and I told my little sister the same thing. Is we have to stop working hard. Like, you have to stop working hard. You need to work smarter more often. Work smarter and work more often. You see, people who have no college degree and they were successful, like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and all these other amazing people with amazing minds, they didn't work 9 to 5 without a college degree. They didn't just do 9 to 5 and that's it. No. Like, they worked more. Like, they worked smarter and they worked more. Find out what you need to do, make a plan on the smarter way to do things, and do it more often. When I go to work, I'm always curious to find a way on how to make my task a little easier. How do I get to the end goal just a little bit faster? I'm trying to figure out how can I tweak something or maneuver a step or change a certain step to make things a lot more productive for me, right? That's called working smarter. And so if let's just say I want to climb the corporate ladder in my job, right? Let's say I want to. I would be doing that way more often because, number one, I'm showing that there's always going to be growth, right? Productivity is always going to increase because I'm always trying to find a way to improve, right? I'm always working smarter and I'm working more. So it's just like when you're running or you're playing a sport, you find a way to train that is highly effective, and then you mash the gas. Like, you just hit it hard. You train it that same, like, you just keep training and you keep getting better and better and better and better and working smarter more often. Sooner or later, you're going to be the best of the best. So translate that into life. And to everybody out there who, who feels like life is over for them, you may be middle age, maybe 30, late 20s, going into 40, and you don't have a degree, or you don't have the job, you're not working the job that you want to work, or you don't have the relationship that you have, or you don't have the relationship that you had before, or you want a relationship that you cannot obtain. You have to remember that it's never too late. It is all in God's timing. But the only way that you can receive your blessings is if you get in the position. If you are not in the position to receive your blessings, then how can you expect to be ready for it? Like, people, it's like when you can't run before you walk. You can't walk before you crawl. Like, you can't hop inside of a Lamborghini and think that you're going to drive the same way if you've never driven a car before. Like, you have to hop in the Honda Accord. Then you got to hop in the Mustang, and then you got to hop in the Lamborghini. You can't just skip steps. You have to put yourself in a position. That's like a football player training on a basketball court. How is he going to be better at football if he's training on a basketball court? You got to put yourself in the position. So for me, what that looks like for me, I'm reading the Bible every day. I'm praying. I'm talking to God. I'm trying to figure out, God, let me know. Give me the guidance. What do I need to do? Please let me know if it is your will, that if what I'm doing is correct. God, show me the way so that I can be in a position to receive your blessings. Cleansing the spirit, cleansing my mind. I'm eating healthier. And I'm making sure my relationships are, like, it's so many things. Like, people just don't understand this is why I don't think people understand. This is why it's so hard for me to go to sleep. I just think about this stuff all the time. Like, quite frankly, I could just turn this like whole thing into an operation and had it's, oh my gosh, my mind goes a mile a minute with these kind of things. But I apologize for going off on that tangent, but you gotta get put in position. Like, so many people want so many things and they're not ready for it. Like the people who win the lottery. Think about it. A lot of them do not have A lot of them are broke again. Like a lot of them don't have the money they just want because they weren't ready for all of that money. Like they weren't ready for that lump sum. They didn't know. Like you have to know financial literacy to really know how to obtain a large lump sum of money. A lot of people have seen it in their years, like me, right? I'm not perfect at all. And I definitely have trouble with money. I tell you that right now. I still do to this day. If I see $600 to $800 in my account, I just have the urge to spend it. Feel me? I just have the urge to spend it. Like saving has always been a problem for me, but it's just and knowing that that's the case, I can't expect God to be like, okay, Jair, you're gonna be a millionaire tomorrow, because that would be setting me up for failure. I'm not ready for that. I can't even save my little 500. And I realized that, and I realized like even when it comes to my success on YouTube or on my previous podcast or on my book, it's like I didn't put myself in a position to be successful. I wasn't consistent. I didn't learn up on the craft. I didn't really, have a process, and I didn't really set my mind to these things. So how can I be ready to gain 100,000 subscribers? How can I be ready to gain 1 million followers if I can't even deal with the little 100 that I got now or the little 10 that I got now? Like I have to be able to take these initial steps to learn and to grow so that when it is time for me to really get what I want, I'm in position. I'm ready to receive it. I'm here, God. So and you gotta be like that. I'm sorry, that is how it is. It's the game of life. Like that's just how it is. And the moment that you realize that is when your life will start to change. Before we get out of here, man, I do want to recommend one thing for you guys. Right here, I have this thing right here. It's a little journal. It says, "I'm only talking to Jesus today." I just started doing this yesterday. I got to do mine tonight. But I'm writing down everything that I'm thankful for and everything that I'm grateful for in this here book, because you got to show yourself some gratitude, man. Like you got to show some gratitude. Gratitude is the only attitude, man. And honestly, you'll start to see a difference in your everyday life, and another thing that I want people to start implementing is a daily routine, whether it's just a self-love routine is really what it is. Me, I started, doing those gratitude journals in the morning, and I also do a video talking to my future self, basically saying, or yeah, I do a video talking to my future self. That's really what I do, honestly. And these little Instagram reels I post are me talking to myself, giving myself motivation, or just really asking, myself questions that I do on the regular. And that kind of helps me throughout the day. Another thing that I do is I listen to music. I have to listen to music before I go to work. I just have to listen to music before I go to work, because if I do not, I will be in a terrible mood. I gotta be jamming on the way to work because woo, dealing with these people in these buildings, man. I'm trying to tell you, it's too much for me. I have to be in a space where I am already willing and able to just be productive off rip. The next thing I do want to implement for myself is like a better morning routine, right? Like I have a really good skincare routine. Shout out to Samia's Beauty Garden out in Fairburn. Miss Tisha is the best for sure. She's the best esthetician that I know of, and the only one that I've been to, and she's definitely helped me out. I mean, I remember I had like razor bumps on when I used to shave, and she did this. I don't know what she put. I really don't know what she put on it, but she put some under my chin, and the next day they were gone. So I just consider her a miracle worker now. So shout out her. But I want to start doing that more often, like every day. I want to get on top of my skincare routine. I mean, right now my skin is pretty much good, but there are some spots that I really want to work on. Also with my hair, get on a routine with getting my hair cut, getting it pressed, getting it trimmed, getting it done, really keeping it moisturized, and really seeing professional help with that. The next thing is getting more in tune with my body. A lot of people will say, oh, you got to have that gut feeling and use your instincts, right? But you can't really have a pure gut feeling if your gut health isn't up to par. Like you have to be healthy. Like mental health is where it is. Mental health is worth totally more. Mental health is worth way more than money. I guarantee. If your mind is in a position to be successful, everything else will follow, right? So, and the only way for your mind is to be in a certain way. Your body's got to be. Everything has to be in tune. It's like everything balance each other's out. That makes sense. So your physical health, mental health, your financial, emotional, everything kind of goes together. Once one thing goes up, everything else should follow, and you'll start to see a difference in your life. And it's happened for me as well. I used to be like sitting down sometimes, and I would start to reminisce on certain things, and I would get like a really bad stomach. I would get like a really bad stomach ache just because of the things that I thought about. Like, and there wasn't really bad things. Typically, it would probably be just some things that I just found like really cringe, or I just found things, or I would be doing something that I would just feel like, oh, like why am I doing this? Even though it may be the right thing, and I had to train myself to like, hey, you're doing the right thing. Just let it go. It's not as bad as you think it is. I know it's not comfortable for you, but to be successful is to be uncomfortable. Like I have to remind myself this every single day. To be successful is to be uncomfortable. And so, me working out, going to walking, eating healthy is very uncomfortable for me. I didn't grow up like that. Like I grew up eating, I grew up eating good. I ain't gonna lie. I grew up eating great. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, doing this whole meal plan thing and drinking smoothies in the morning and drinking nothing but water. I'm not gonna lie, I am tired of water. I know that sounds weird, bro. I'm tired of water. I had to go buy something else to drink today. Just a little bit, bro, because I'm tired of drinking water. Like that is all I drink. Sometimes I be craving just a little sip of something else, but um, I'm uncomfortable. But I can tell that it's working. I'm losing weight, so I'm successful, even though I'm uncomfortable. So that's one thing to remember. And lastly, before I end this off, I want to say this right here, and I want you to take this message with you throughout your life. If you ever going through something, and then you want to put action on something, just remember this: action without vision is a nightmare. Vision without action is a daydream, right? So, in other words, if you want to do something, you want to accomplish something, you need to have a plan. You need to see it physically. You need to write it down on a board, on a piece of paper, in your phone. You need to see, you need to visualize the steps, the action plan to get to your goal, to obtain your goal, attain whatever it is you want to reach. And then after you visualize what you need to do and how to do it, you actually have to follow up. You have to do it. Follow up. Like, don't just write it down and don't do anything. You're dreaming. You have to follow up. I get it. It may not be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not. Everything has opportunity costs. Trust me. A lot of things are going to take sacrifice. Trust me. Anyways, guys, I appreciate every single last one of you guys who watch my videos, who listen to me, who support me, who like my pictures on Instagram, who follow me, who just send little notes to me every single day. I appreciate you, Devontae. I appreciate you, Mia. I appreciate you, Auntie, Mom, Nana. I appreciate Melanie. I appreciate you, Dad. I appreciate you, Q. I appreciate you, Aunt Sharia. I appreciate you, Kiera. I appreciate my next door neighbor across the way who acknowledges me, who speaks to me, even though he doesn't have to. I appreciate the maintenance people in his neighborhood. I appreciate the leasing agents. I appreciate my girlfriend's parents, Miss Tisha, Mr. McGee. I appreciate you, JJ, my little brother. I appreciate you. I love you so much. I appreciate every single last one of you guys who support me in every way. I appreciate you, Lizzie. I appreciate you, Mr. Walter. I appreciate you, Miss Sabrina. I appreciate you, everybody, man. I appreciate every single last one of you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to be strong and to continue doing what I'm doing, God. And God, I appreciate you, God. I tell you one thing, God, I appreciate you a lot, man, because you've been here through it all, God, and you are the reason why I am here to this day, because you are in control, God. You are in control. Yes, Lord. Yes, you are, man. And I appreciate it, God. And without further ado, one last question. Do you see the vision?